Hey, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Here we go. A lot of stuff to talk about today, man. I am aggravated as hell. Didn't come on last night because it was a late game, and I thought I'll be doing Tom Thibodeau a favor not to come on last night. But look at the back. Look right behind me. No structural damage. You definitely starting tomorrow. This is this guy's mindset. I don't know what's going on with Tom Thibodeau. This guy's just ridiculous, man. Let me just to give you guys a little breakdown of what happened last night. Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks were down by 15 points, and he still injects R.J. Barrett. And there's 30 seconds to go in the game. R.J. Barrett hurts himself, and this is just ridiculous from a coaching standpoint. But let me just play what his excuse was for you guys. Real quick, I'm going to play it, and you guys be the judge, and you tell me if this makes any sense from this guy. Here we go.
Do you know what happened to RJ?
No, the trainers are looking at him.
Why'd you have him in the game at that point?
We sat most of the fourth. We got it down to 13, and we wanted to see if we could make a run.
What in the first half, you guys had started off very well, and then what do you think happened?
The first quarter, I thought we played.
Listen, I don't even want to listen to that whole video, guys. You get the logistics of it. He basically just injected him because he's just retarded. There's no other point to that. Excuse me for using my French, but let me get Zenray in here, and we'll get Zenray in here and get his opinion, because Zenray, so I don't know if he watched the end of the game, but I brought him up to speed. But let's get his take. What's up, Zenray? Good afternoon, sir.
I thought you were on, so I was going to you giving this third.
No, I was, man.
Welcome, Juby, and Straight Sports Talk.
Welcome,
Family
guys.
above everything. I just want to know two things, basically, before we start, and I'll let you take over because I'm baffled. I'm speechless. First of all, you give up 83 points at half. The first time ever since the last date. You weren't born. I wasn't born. Back in 1962. And then, Thibodeau. Game was out of reach. The last seconds ending of the fourth quarter, which is the ending of the game itself, R.J. Barrett gets injured. Take over, Maestro.
Salute to you guys at Zenray Sports TV. Zenray, I was just telling my chat that I didn't come on last night as a favor to Tom Thibodeau because I was going to let him have it last night. And I think it was just not fair to him. But at this point, I should have come on because I'm in total disgust, ladies and gentlemen. For those of y'all who missed it or who fell asleep, didn't watch the game because I fell asleep the night before, Knicks were getting blown out. The bench brought them back to 13. Tom Thibodeau takes out the bench, brings in Julius and Fournier. They go up to 19. Then he injects R.J. Barrett for some weird reason. And I played for you guys. I don't know if you heard it, Zenray. If you want, I'll play it again. But I even cut my video short for my stream. I had it listed up on here. Him just saying, let me just say, and I quote, I thought I would put him in because I thought we can go on a little run. With how much time left on the clock, you still have a man who's played 92 minutes in 2 games. The guy was breathing for oxygen. His muscles were hurting. I know he's only 21, but don't abuse the kid. You have such a history of doing this. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The point guard, excuse me, look, I'm getting choked up. That's how aggravated I am. The point guard that is in recovery right now that we all miss, let me calm myself down, that we all miss is probably one of the reasons why he has this problem today. Because Tom Thibodeau used to run him to the ground. He hurt himself. He's a shadow of his former self. He's still a great product player, but he has a history of overusing his players and exhausting them and running them to the ground. I'm so grateful that RJ Barrett didn't tear an ACL, or he's definitely gonna be out. Minimum 5 to 10 games, I would anticipate. But there was no reason for Mr. Broadway to be in that game so late. Take it away, Zenred, because I need to calm down just a tad, and I need to zen out.
Okay, we'll do that after the show. But you're absolutely right. You hit on great points there. The history there. The history. We go back with Derrick Rose, and no player is going to ask to sit down. They'll be out there 40, 45 minutes. But if you look at the minutes, he did 51 minutes one night. He did 39 minutes the other night. He did 41 minutes, and then I think he did 35 minutes before he got injured. There was no need for him to be out there. Thank God it wasn't a knee injury, an Achilles or ACL type of injury that would have set him back for about a year and a half. The Knicks got lucky at that end. I think Thibodeau, this Knicks organization, and now I'm hearing that Leon Rose is asking advice from an ex-Minnesota Timberwolf executive.
I'll give you my opinion on that in a second, but go ahead.
We'll talk about that, but it seems like from top to bottom, the Knicks are trying to get it right, but obviously they're not. I mean, look, Deuce McBride should have had more minutes last night. There is no reason why Barris played for 35 minutes.
1 minute Deuce McBride got. One.
That's what I'm saying. 35 minutes was 10 minutes too long for RJ Barrett. You were not going to win. It was fool's gold. They were coming back. They cut the lead. They were not going to beat the Denver. And the Denver did what the Knicks do to other opponents, is by beating you with the bench. Rookie Bones Highland, 22 points for the team. Rookie. It seems like we make stars out of rookies. Come to New York, play the Knicks, and we'll make a star out of you. Look, if you look at overall the team was injured. We didn't expect to win this game. I give the Knicks a lot of credit for hanging in this game at times, but the Knicks were no match with the Denver Nuggets, which I think is one of the better teams we played on this West Coast string. So rookie Bones Highland scored 22 points. Jokic had 21. The Denver Nuggets just run them out of town, 132 to 115, sending the Knicks to the fourth consecutive loss and 10 out of their last 12 games. You're not going to win. And look at their bench as well. You're not going to win too many games, getting back to my point, when you're losing 10 out of your last 12 games. Jay McMichael Green and Willie Barton added 20 points apiece. This is what the Knicks bench did to the opponents last year. Even early this year when they were outplaying our starters. Their bench was the tools, was the extra necessity and tools that they didn't need. I mean, they would have beat them without it, because Jokic only had a modest game. He only had 21 points. Juby, I'm not upset. I didn't expect them to beat Denver. What gets me upset is that the Barry situation that escalates it more. Thibodeau, this new person come from Minnesota now. I don't know what's unraveling here. We've got one more day, tomorrow at 3 p.m., that the trading deadline ends. I think we're going to make a move, but knowing what I'm feeling about the Knicks now, it's going to be a modest move, like a pickup player from the G League or something like that. At this point, Juby, I'm flustered. I overspoke. My English, my Spanish, my overall intelligence in my languages are all combining and confused, as is Thibodeau and the Knicks organization.
Listen, you hit it right on the spot, man. Salute to you guys again. I appreciate you guys coming in here. But what do I always say? What is my biggest catchphrase when somebody doesn't know what's going on? Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks as an organization are lost in the sauce. I don't even think management has a clue on what they're doing. As much as credit we give the Five Horsemen, like we like to say, I think the inexperience of being a general manager, Leon Rose, that's why he had Scott Perry stay on board. And there's obviously some and this is not that I heard this anywhere, but this is just based on my experience on observing and hearing. There's obviously some communication problems with management and Tom Thibodeau. We've been hearing that Tom Thibodeau didn't want Cam Reddish deal to go down. So, in my opinion, this move to Minnesota is so Leon Ross doesn't have to speak with Tom Thibodeau, or does not have to speak with the media. This guy is gonna be the face moving forward, and he's probably gonna give him some advice on managing teams. Because let's be honest, this is Leon Ross's first general manager. Oh, excuse me, Leon. Is his first general manager position. He's never done this before, and we haven't heard from him since the beginning of the season. Although reporters and sports announcers have been asking to speak with him, and he doesn't want to do it. So this was a move to kind of lessen the pressure for him, and also to be the middleman between him and Tom Thibodeau, because there's obviously, if you're an NBA analyst like I am, I've been watching the NBA for a long time, and I read between the lines, and I know you do, and a lot of Knick Nation does. There's some problems brewing in that Knicks organization behind the scenes. They don't want to make it publicly known. Definitely is. You said we're going to probably make a G League move. I think you kind of hit it right on the spot, with the exception of second-round picks that we might cut Kemba Walker for. I think the only big move, and this is me, like I said, this is not me knowing any specific source. This is just, again, my personal expertise opinion. I think a Goran Dragic move, I said it in the past previous shows. Miami wants no ties with him, and again, it's being reported today that the Knicks are looking for him, for Dragic. And the Harrison Barnes.
I could see Fournier going in that deal for Dragic just to get the contract.
Yeah.
Well, if you're getting a player that can shoot, I don't know if they need another shooter. I think any team can use a shooter, but I don't know. I think I can see that happening. The contracts almost match up. I think Dragic makes a little bit more money. But Juby, at this juncture, when you are seeking help from a ex-Minnesota management person that used to be, I think, what was he, VP of operations for Minnesota at one point?
Yep.
Two things I could be thinking. Either Leon Rose is thinking of him dealing with Minnesota because we're trying to make a trade with them, knowing the insides of that. That's getting the
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Turning a trade happen, and I think Leon Rose can make it happen without this person. Maybe this person has some connections, and there's some probably under the table money being involved here. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying all these businesses get a little shady when it comes to negotiations. But or Leon Rose is probably saying to himself, look, I need your insight of what's going on here to analyze the team itself. And I think the worst case scenario, I can see Thibodeau saying, look, like he walked out of Minnesota saying, look, they fired him. But with Minnesota, it was different. He was trying to be president, making trades and being coach. That never usually works out. It didn't work out for Doc Rivers as well. He either could be one or the other. So that's what's his doom and gloom there. Juby, I'm as confused as Knick Nation is. But right now, we need to get some players out of here. Let the young kids play. It seems like Julius Randle has responded to whoever spoke to him, because he had 28 points. He was 11 from 22 from the field, 3 from 8. He played a solid, good, great game. He had 3 steals, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. If you get this from Randle on a daily night, I'll take those. 28 points. RJ Barrett had 18 points. His shooting touch was off again from the outside. He was solid from the 3-point range, 4 for 6. 35 minutes of play. You didn't need him to play all those minutes.
Yeah.
Fournier played well. Walker, obviously, you know him. 2 points. You're not going to get much from him and his bad knees. Our bench did okay. I mean, Topping with 11. Burks with 14. Quickly still not out of his schneid yet. Only 5 points. We were undermanned. We had no center. We didn't have Grimes. We still don't have Rose here, who Juby says it all the time. He is the true leader of this team. And when you have leadership like that off the floor, all these things happening with players not getting along or players doing their own thing, and It's just the cancer becomes that more noticeable. And Julius Randle, I think, for me, has straightened out his act. He's not going nowhere. The only three players I'm looking for tomorrow to be gone from this rotation: Walker, Fournier, and Burks.
Yeah, but
So,
well,
and it doesn't get any easier. We play now Golden State.
yeah.
If you were a betting man, I don't engage, I let nobody think that I encourage betting on any sport. If that's your thing, that's fine. I'm all good with it. I play the lottery once in a while. But if you would give up, you take the favorite team, like you take Utah and the points, you have money in your bag. You take last night, you take Denver and the points, you have money in your bag. Against the Lakers, that was a closer call, so you probably would have lost some money there. But I guarantee you, against Golden State, we're losing that game by 15 points. Now you don't have RJ Barrett there for
Yeah.
whatever games he's going to be out, maybe 3 or 4 games. Listen, guys, if you're betting people, take Golden State in the points, and you're going to have some money in your bag.
AC Duck, I appreciate the comments, man. Salute to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. AC Duck, all they have to do is fire this imbecile Thibbs, hire Mark Jackson, and step back. We all know they traded their talent away. For the most part, I honestly don't know. AC Duck, man, listen, right now, you're expressing exactly how we all feel to some degree with Tom Thibodeau. Hence why I have this right behind me, as you guys can see. No structural damage. Guess what? He's starting tomorrow. It doesn't matter to him. This guy's crazy. Like I said, he's known as the drill sergeant of coaches. Very talented, great basketball mind. But when it comes to the well-being of the players and their health, that's not a big priority for him. His priority is to win games, have a game plan, and stick to that game plan, because we all know he doesn't like changing and making modifications to it. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's still too early to call for his head. I'm pretty sure there's going to be whispers in his ear very soon than later, rather soon than later, about what he's doing. And I'm pretty sure somebody told him, listen, you didn't need to have RJ Barrett out there while you guys were down. That was uncalled for. He's been playing a lot of minutes, because if we analyze and see that, everybody who's close to him must have told him. And he probably realized that himself with it. I'm hoping that he has some sort of empathy and realize what he did, and maybe he can move forward and learn from that. But Julius Randle has been playing phenomenal, man. The last couple of games, he's playing so well that several teams, as of today, have contacted the Knicks in regards to Julius Randle's availability. So we're back to kind of round and round we go. Where the ball ends up, where does Julius end up? Nobody knows. That's actually where we are. But I agree with you, AC Duck, and everybody else who's watching. Tom Thibodeau needs a reality check, and somebody got to give it to him. Who knows? Maybe that's why Leon Ross hired this guy to kind of go to Tom Thibodeau's ear and be like, yo, so you worked with it. I know that him and Leon Ross have a friendship. That I do know. They have a history together. But maybe Tom Thibodeau knows this guy, and maybe that's why Leon Ross hired him, so he can kind of go to him and be like, listen, you need to wake this guy up. Look what he's doing. He's playing RJ Barrett all these minutes. He's not playing the young guys. Who knows?
I don't think that's the case. Listen, that what he did last night was a rookie coach. He's been in the league for a long time, but you hit it on the head. His MO is to wear down his players. He did it toward the end of the year, going into the playoffs last year. How many minutes was Randle and Barrett playing toward the end of the year when they got into the playoffs? Look, Barrett, thank God, is going to be okay. It's a learning experience. I don't think Thibodeau's going anywhere at this juncture. But if he starts the season the way he's starting off now, he's gonna get fired. I mean, Leon Rose is gonna have no other choice but to do that. But let's look at it this way as well. Leon Rose loves the youth movement. Thibodeau likes his veterans. You could have both, but it seems like Thibodeau doesn't want to play the young players. Like Cam Reddish was not playing. Something had been told to Thibodeau that you have to play Cam, because all of a sudden Cam is playing. I don't understand what's the mindset of Thibodeau and what's going on in that relationship between Leon Rose and Thibodeau, but something is going to have to give, Juby.
Yeah. Like I said, there's obviously some miscommunication. Somebody's lost in the sauce, like I like to say, in that organization because we don't know the direction. And I'm gonna say this again: the Knicks have no identity. We don't know if they're a young rebuilding team. We don't know if they're a veteran team. We don't know what's going on. And I don't even think it's just us. I think it's Knicks management and coaching. They don't know what the identity of this team is. And it's sad to say that we've come across almost the All-Star break, and that's still not found. Normally, that takes two to 3 weeks. We were singing that song and dance a few months ago. Almost feels like a few months ago that the Knicks are gonna gel together. They just need time to gel. Here we are, pretty much past the mid-season, almost All-Star break, and we still have no identity. We still don't know. We know some things. We know that RJ Barrett is the man. He can handle the pressure. We know that Julius was crazy, but now he's getting his act together. And we still know that we need a point guard or a finisher for the end of games.
And that finisher could come in the point guard we're looking for. It could be one of our rookies on the bench. It could be Cam Reddish. It could be a Deuce McBride. But he's not giving Deuce McBride the time of day. I
Now let's
mean,
go.
we're looking for a point guard, and Deuce McBride is roasting and toasting the G League. I don't think he has anything to prove there. If you gave Grimes and he made his mistakes along the way, why aren't you giving Deuce McBride, give him the opportunity now? What, you're showcasing Kemba Walker? Everybody in the league knows what Kemba Walker is all about. He can play 2 or 3 games, needs two rest. He can't play back to backs, needs a couple of days off. He'll have some nights he'll score you 20 points, 25 points, and there'll be other nights he'll get you 2 to 6 points a game. That's what you got in Kemba. We know what we got in Kemba. The league knows what we have in Kemba. Let Deuce McBride show his talents on the court.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it, man. It's just that it's not me. And it seems like I'm getting all the notifications on trades that are happening. The Jazz acquired Nickel Alexander Walker, Henry Gomez in a trade with the Blazers and the Spurs. Nets and Sixers deal zone on James Harden for Ben Simmons. You hear all this stuff, but the team that is in desperate need for some kind of change, whether that's in house with bringing, like you said, Deuce McBride, giving him minutes, or going out there and getting somebody that can help this team. That doesn't have to be a superstar, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that this team needs an injection of some kind of life. Right now, they're on course. And we joked about it before we went on live, Zenray. We said we're back to lottery, picking eighth pick, seventh pick. And I don't know about you guys. I think that the Knicks have a let's not even get into that. What is the point of getting out these talented draft picks and getting all these players if they're gonna sit down on the bench collecting dust like Deuce McBride is doing? With the exception of Quickly and Toppin. And let's remember, Quickly and Toppin did that a lot last season too, up until maybe the last couple of weeks of the end of season and the first round of the playoffs. You didn't see too much of Quickly and Toppin. That's what, especially Toppin. We saw him really in the playoffs. So I don't know. This coach, management hired, as much as I give him credit for taking us to the playoffs, if the management wanted to start with a young core and build around Julius and RJ Barrett, this coach was not the man for the job. You should have hired a Jason Kidd, a Patrick Ewing, a young coach that if you sit there and you lose games, you can sit there and say they're learning together, they're growing together. Right now, we got a coach who wants to win now, but doesn't have the talent or the experience. Not even the talent, the experience and talent and people who could take over games. We don't have a Carmelo Anthony who you can sit there and say, go get me 15 points, we're down, and can take over a game. We have people that are great, like RJ Barrett, but he's fairly young, and you're overusing him, hence why he had the ankle injury last night.
Even throw a Mark Jackson. I know he's blackballed in the NBA because
I would love a Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson with this kind of youth in the system, he'll get the best out of these young players.
Agreed.
But look, Thibodeau is okay for a team to get him to a certain point. His act wears thin after a while. And what happens is eventually you have to look for another coach eventually. Um, Yeah, you're right. I mean, the coaches you mentioned, even a Mark Jackson, like I mentioned, I know he's blackballed from the NBA, would have brought this young, talented Nick core up and have these young players play. Obviously, you got the veterans in here, in Fournier and Randall and Kemba Walker and Rose to lead your way. It's okay to have a few veterans like a Taj Gibson you need as a backup. He's fine. A Rose is fine. But when you have too many veterans and you have young kids waiting in the back, sitting down the bench, just rotting away. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for their confidence. Thank God that McBride and Sims and these other rookies are playing in the G League to get that exposure and get the practice time in, because you're not getting it obviously with Coach Tibbs. And Coach Tibbs, for me, is a veteran type coach. You give him some veteran players, he can lead a team to the promised land. With the young, when you have young kids like we have now for the future, it seems like Thibodeau, he's gun shy or he's just into his ways. And then when he does have good players like Barrett and Randall, last year, I don't know if you've noticed, the last month before the playoffs, he was riding on these guys. You know, when they went on a 7 to 9 game winning streak, he was riding these guys. When they got to the playoffs, wow. I mean, Barrett wasn't the same player, and obviously you saw what Julius Randle did. He did, you know, the team did anything. The only person who showed up for those playoffs was Derrick Rose. He carried us,
And
and
look what
he
happened
got
to
that
him.
win for us. And he
And
could have probably got that second win if the ball bounced correctly. So look, Nick Nation, we just have to be patient. Let Leon Rose lead the way, and see if Thibodeau and them can come together. And hopefully, this Minnesota executive that they hired, and they can get some answers before today and tomorrow to see what direction this team is going to go.
yeah, well said, man. That's I think the main point is we need to know what direction this organization is heading for. Are they going to start a youth movement and we're going to tank and just head for the lottery and just build up the guys to get them some experience, or we're going to make one final push and go after Gordon Dragic to help bluster this point guard position with along with Derrick Rose when he comes back? These are all the answers that you, myself, and all of Nick Nation are probably wondering right now. And I know you guys are probably glued to your phones and to the internet like I've been since yesterday. But don't be surprised if nothing happens and if we just cut Kemba Walker and that's all she wrote. And we just pray that something happens, which at this point, guys, I don't see it. I see it being, you said it, Zenra, and we said it before we hired Coach Tibbs. Coach Tibbs is a man that can get you to a certain point, but then you have to hire somebody else. And a lot of analysts, and sportscasters have said that before. Great coach, but he can't get you to the promised land. He can start a foundation, but he only can get you but so far. Coach Tibbs will be a great coach for, like, I'll give you a perfect example. And no, not taking nothing away from Frank Vogel because he's a great coach. But if Tibbs had a team like the Lakers, like with Carmelo, Westbrook, LeBron, all these established stars and veterans, that's the kind of team that Coach Tibbs needs. Frank Vogel would have been probably better with the Knicks, with the young guys. So this is just something to think about moving forward. And who knows, or when we wake up tomorrow, if we hear anything or if we see anything. Guarantee. I mean, definitely, if something does happen, me and Zenray will come on here to give you guys the news. And if it doesn't, we'll still come on here the following day after Golden State annihilates the Knicks, because, like he said, there's no chance, especially now that RJ's gone. All I look forward to now is seeing Cam Reddish get some action and some. I mean, I hope he starts,
Bring in Deuce
and Deuce.
Look, we need to see the young players come in. Look, getting back to Tibbs, going to LA, his act will wear thin there, because now you're gonna ask these players to play 40 minutes, 42 minutes. They'll be injury prone and there'll be injury issues there. He just doesn't know how to delegate time. He feels that he feels so close that he needs to win every game that he doesn't give his players the rest time in between. And that can run. Then, I mean, you can have one good year and get lucky, not get the injuries. But this, after a while, just wearing down on your players, it gets noticeable. Now, thank God, RJ Barrett is 21 years old. He'll heal from this. He'll bounce off this, and hopefully it'll be a learning experience. But Juby, before we go, I just want to before I know the trading deadline tomorrow by 3 p.m. If you had to take a guess, I'm going to mention some players. If they're going to be here or not, let me. I'm just going to ask you. Julius Randle, is he here tomorrow after 3 p.m.?
I think he's here, but I think he might be gone by summer. That's just my opinion.
Okay. We talk about Alex Burks. You think he's here or gone after 3?
I think Alex. It's a tough one because Thibodeau likes him. If I had to guess, I think he's here.
Wow. Fournier?
Here.
Wow. So that means we're not making no room. We're not even going to talk about Kemba Walker.
I think he's the. I think he's the only one who's going to be brought out. I don't honestly think no moves are going to happen.
Right. I think Kemba Walker. You're right. Either we get something for him, he's involved in some kind of trade package, or if not, we're just going to release him and eat the money and pay him off. But well, I'm surprised you think Burks is going to be here. I have a little slightly different view on your end. I think out of all 3, I think Burks is the guy who's going to go. You have to make room for Cam. And I think if you want to get a point guard in return, Dragic, the player, the point guard, for Fournier, which he can use another shooter, I can see that happening. Going somewhere else, I can see that happening. But that's hearsay. We'll find out tomorrow by 3 p.m. Juby, once again, thank you. The Knicks lose 132 to 115. We talk about Thibodeau, land of the lost, clueless act of putting your young star in a kind of dangerous situation, getting injured on the last seconds in the fourth quarter, uncalled for when the game was out of reach. Juby, any last words on your end?
Pray, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to say. Let's just pray to the Knick gods that either we get an identity and we know where we stand tomorrow night, whether we're gonna get ready for the summer and let's start analyzing the NBA draft and trade rumors from then, or we get somebody and we come on here hyped tomorrow at 4:00 talking about the Knicks got this person and that person. But only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen.
I agree with Juby. Listen, thanks again for coming on, and it's nice always to get your input on things. And thanks for
Likewise
always texting me and kind of letting me know, updating me, because you're my Ian Begley. You're my backup for trades.
Ian Begley from the Bronx, ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate you, your family, everything you have done with the Sports Straight Talk and family above everything.
Likewise.
That said, Juby, go New York. Go New York. Never give up, guys. Knick Nation, knowing that the best is yet to come with love, peace, and gratitude. Zen Ray out. Juby, it was nice once again. I'll see you tomorrow sometime early morning or early afternoon on the post-game show against the Golden State Warriors happening tomorrow night.
All right, sir. Have a great night, man. Great day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Zen Ray out.
Later, brother. All right, guys. That was Zen Ray from Zen Ray Sports TV giving his final thoughts. He thinks Alex Burke is going to be gone. I say if we had a different coach who didn't favor players, he would have been gone. But with this Joker sitting right behind me, he loves Alex Burke. He loves some Julius Randle. He's not very fond of Kemba Walker, so I see Kemba Walker leaving. And who knows? Maybe he's crazy enough to say that he doesn't want Cam Reddish here, and we get rid of Cam Reddish. But we'll know tomorrow by 3 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. And you already know, as always, family above everything. Peace, guys.
We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the